Today's video, I'm going to be giving you exact strategies that I use to close thousands of deals, build influence, and make some money. So let's rock and roll. What's up, guys? It's Alex back with another video of value. If you can't sell, you can't win. That goes for business and in life. And so the main question I have for you is, which person is in control? The sales representative or the client? Who do you think is truly in control? Well, the person that's in control is the person that is asking questions. That is the person who's in control of the conversation. It's extremely important to maintain conversational control when you are in a sales presentation, having a sales call with the client. And the reason for this is because they have to perceive you as an expert, as an authority figure in the field. Okay? Taken directly from Jordan Belfort, what he says is there's three key components that you have to instill in the first few seconds of the conversation. Number one would be authority/expert. Number two would be you have to be sharp as a tack in your introduction. So let's put sharp. And number three, you have to have some enthusiasm. Now, in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of the enthusiasm aspect. Although I think it's important, I think that the energy that you convert through the conversation means a tremendous amount. However, you have to find the right balance for this, because if you're too enthusiastic and you're not matching the other person's energy, you can come off as a salesman. So I like to show up more of in a relaxed tone when I have a conversation and just having a frame of how can I help this person get what they came here for. Now, going back to frame control, I'm going to give you an example here. There was one time I had a conversation with someone and he was interested in one of our programs that we have for men. Basically, he came on and he started asking 10, 15 questions right from the get-go. And I found myself very quickly in a position of defense. Although you may say, oh, I'm answering all these guys' questions, it's great. I guarantee you, if you answer all of his questions and they're exactly what he wants to hear, you're still not going to get that guy to move forward because you didn't exhibit leadership during that conversation. A leader is somebody who has control and someone who the client can trust on the other side of the phone. Because if they jump on the phone, they start dominating, asking all these questions, that's not the type of person that they want to eventually become one day. If they continue to ask questions and you don't flip the frame on them and get back in the fight and take control of the conversation, you will never close that deal. So what I did was I immediately found myself in a defensive position and I started asking questions. I flipped it on him. And then from that point, we were able to get back in the conversation. I was looked at as the authority figure, no longer the person that is not having control of the conversation, and I was able to close that deal. So with that being said, the frame control is extremely important. Make sure you're asking questions and make sure in the beginning of the conversation you structure and you position yourself as an expert in whatever your offer may be. Why I'm saying this is because you don't want to get blitzed. You don't want to jump on the phone and you get attacked with questions right from the get-go. You'll never close any deals that way. So make sure you're not playing defense. Urgency is extremely important in anything you do, but more importantly, when you're having a sales conversation with somebody. Now, I found the best way to instill urgency isn't necessarily dropping the price. Hey, if you buy right here, we're going to give you 50% off of, this deal. While that can work, the real way that you want to instill urgency is asking them the question about why is now the time to make a change in your life, right? Why is now the time to make a change? Or you can ask them call to consequence questions, such as what happens if you don't change? So with this being said, these are the two ways that I like to frame an urgency type of question when I'm going into the sales conversation. You have to instill. I mean, there's plenty of other ways, but these are just a couple ways that I'm going to give you. But I think this has much more power than if you were just to tell them, hey, buy now, right? Number one, I mean, it can work, but it can be a little bit salesy sometimes that you want them to go ahead and buy the product now. It may not leave a great taste in your customers or client's mouth, but when you actually have them build some urgency from within them, you're having an entirely different conversation with that person. Now, you're not the guy instilling the urgency, they're instilling the urgency in themselves. So I have found in my experience, if you can combine the two, that's even better. But this is an extremely powerful way to increase their sense of now to take action. Listen, if you're getting value out of this video, like, subscribe. We will be talking about sales, leadership, business, and ultimately every aspect of building yourself as a man. Let's jump back in. The pipeline is critical. If you have no pipeline, this is where depression, anxiety will seep in on your calendar. You got to make sure that regardless of what it is, you have some pipeline, whether it's phone numbers for the next day, meetings, your calendar. It doesn't have to be stacked, but it needs to be filled with opportunities that you can open up and have conversations with people. Otherwise, it becomes day after day after day, and there is no momentum being built. As you know, you want momentum on your side for as long as you possibly can have it on your side for. So the problem is, if you're not building your pipeline, momentum will actually work against you. So it's important that build the pipeline, you develop perseverance. I mean, you're going to be told no all the time. So when you really lock in and dial into it, you'll see that sales it's really a mindset. It's all about how many no's can you take until you can get to the yes. How many no's can you take until you realize your pipeline is filled and you have some good opportunities, right? It's constant digging. It's definitely not for everybody. You got to be tough as nails. And honestly, this is why sales is the lowest paying easy work, but it's the highest paying hard work. There is no other occupation in the world that you can get paid as much as you can in sales without a college education or without some sort of background. But there's also no other occupation that's going to pay you less than sales will if you do no work. So in essence, if you're a top performer, there's no other place that you can go that will give you more money than sales. But if you suck, there's nowhere in the world that you're going to go that's going to pay you less. On to the next phase. It's going to be pro problem finder. Not a pro problem solver, a problem finder. In my opinion, the entrepreneurs, the CEOs, the guys who are embedded in sales, because if you're a business owner, remember that you're always selling. If you can become a pro problem finder during a conversation with someone, you have an extreme advantage at sales. That means asking the right questions that will ultimately find their pain points. And when you find those pain points, the idea is to turn up that pain. Turn up that pain as much as you can. Now, this is not in a manipulative way to turn up the pain. No. What I mean by this is make that person realize that whatever problem that they're telling you at surface level, ask them questions to see if it's affecting them in other areas of their life that they may not even realize. Hey man, maybe you haven't went to the gym in a year. You don't feel so great. Okay, how is it affecting you in your relationship with your partner? Oh, you know what? It's actually affecting me negatively because she said blah, blah, blah. Okay, how is it affecting you in work? Honestly, the way that people perceive me now at work, it was much better when I was in shape. So you're really turning up that pain by asking specific questions on how is it affecting them more than just surface level. This is an extremely powerful technique that will put you at an advantage. Of course, there's plenty of different questions that you can ask from different angles to find out their problems. These are just a couple of examples on how you can find the problem and turn it up. And the final thing here is going to be, as we all know it, the objections. Now, I'm not going to talk too much on how to handle the objection, but I will tell you that a lot of it comes down into mindset. What I've noticed as far as me handling objections, yeah, there's a bunch of word tracks and different techniques that you can use to get people to move forward. Sure. But what really works the best is when you have true conviction that that person needs this program more than they have conviction about them doing the program. When your conviction is higher, your objections your rebuttals to handle these objections kind of come natural, and they can feel it. So when you get to this level in sales where you can start rebutting people naturally and your conviction is so high because your belief for your program is so high and you've had a lot of experience in helping people, when you get to this level, that's typically when you will start to excel tremendously and you'll start to feel like you're really a master in the art form. We'll get to objections in another video. Although this is not a sales channel, I'm going to be covering different aspects about sales, leadership, business, masculinity as a whole. As far as the sales side of the house goes, leave your comments. What are some techniques? What are some things that you would do when you're in a conversation with somebody to give them structure, to show them that you're an expert in your field? Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to be bringing you value every single week. Let's rock and roll, guys.